Hello, and welcome to Shortcut Up CNC. Today we're going to talk about a gadget I've been involved with in making. It's called a game board layout maker. It creates the vectors on certain layers for you to be able to create your toolpaths for game board layouts. We have quite a few game board layouts here. We have a tabletop 4 in a row game, Mancala game, 9 men Morris game. You got your chess, checkers, Chinese checkers. What this gadget does is it creates vectors, only vectors. It does not create the toolpaths. So let's take a look at a couple of the simple ones. Say, for instance, the checkers. It layouts the board squares. That's your vectors for your board squares. And then you go over here to the layers and you'll see that it says board profile. Profile gives you a hint as to what type of toolpath you need to use for that. I have done that throughout several game layouts where I have given hints as to what toolpath you may want to use. But then again, I want to point out there are no toolpaths created with this gadget. So we can actually turn this toolpath off and give us more room here in the drawing area. So there we have a checkers game board layout. You could also use that as a chessboard, but I have a little fancier chessboard. It gives the positions on the outside of your game board. So let's go take a look at that one. We turn off the default layer and we select delete visible, which is the visible layers. And we want to delete the data that's on those layers along with the layer. So there we have our default layer, default setup automatically. Then again, I want to point out too that the gadget also has some notes here so that you can bring the gadget up initially and find out what board center you need. The XY datum center you need to use and the approximate board size. So you get an idea of what the layout maker actually uses. And you can increase the size afterwards or decrease it depending on your material board that you will be using for your project. So let's go look at that chessboard. There we have the chessboard with the position layout on the outside edge. And again, you have your layers laid out over here. And the board positions is text or symbols. It could be symbols. I have a game that has symbols along with the text. And you can use the same type of toolpath for that. And of course, it's all up to your discretion on what you want the board to look like when you go to create your toolpaths. So again, we'll go ahead and clean this area up, get rid of the visible, and we'll go look at some of the fancier game boards. For example, how about the fancy aggravation 4-player game? Aha, look at that. Got stars and our little dimples, and then we got the layout that goes little blockage. Again, on this particular one, you really can't, I don't give you any hints in the layers, but the playing field, if you go ahead and click on the layers to turn them off visibly, you can see that the playing field is a pocket. You want this area raised with this all cut out. And then again, you may not because you've got some other stuff involved here, which is your squares and your stars. Okay, now there's where you create your pockets. The pockets on the outside of the star, along with this pocket here. In other words, this would be raised along with the stars being raised. In other words, this is your playing field. All your pips for the marbles will be raised. See what I'm talking? Well, not here. They're actually, this is cut out. This is your pocket, which would leave all this stuff raised. So it's all up to your discretion on how you want the board to look like. But the way I've seen this board made is these stars and this playing area all sits up higher than the rest of the material. That way, everything, all the marbles are sitting up high where you can just reach for them and grab them. And anyway, that's the aggravation 4-player vectors laid out on a sheet for you. And we'll go delete all this again, all our visible and the data that goes with it. And we'll go look at a more complicated game board, which is your Monopoly. Wow, look at that. A Monopoly board layout. And if you go and click on the different layers, turn them off one at a time or all together, depends on what you want to do. But anyway, your rental fees, that's going to be a profile item or profile Toopath, and then your game board profile and property IDs. You can use a 30-degree V-carve and cut all that with a little V-carve bit. And then all your game name, which is Monopoly, you can make that sit up high and proud by pocketing this. And you can pocket this and the chest. It's all up to your discretion on how you want to lay out the tool paths. I've given you the vectors. They're all here. And they're put on individual layers where in some cases you can take and associate the tool path with the layer. So that way it makes it easy creating the tool paths and kept recalculating and stuff like that. But anyway, that's the game board, vector layout, gadget. Thank you for watching Shark Cut Up CNC.